So this ScoutMaster Dave, we're going to do a little hands-on activity, and we're going to talk about Scout and tenderfoot rank requirements for knots. So the 3 knots that you have to know is the square knot, the 2/2 hitch, and the taut line. Now these knots lay the foundation for your scouting journey and are especially useful for setting up tents and tarps and things like that. But it's not real useful to try and teach these things without knowing it ahead of time. So as a leader, I would suggest that you spend some time and really get an understanding of how these knots work. Now, the easiest knot to do really is the square knot. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one piece of rope, and what I like to use is I like to use this cotton-based rope here, and you kind of sear the ends, if you can kind of see that over there, so that it's nice and easy and it doesn't fray. So when I was Scoutmaster, I had a whole bunch of these ropes. I still have them. Actually, they're out at the troop right now because we were working on knots. So I got about 20 or 30 of these things, probably about, 3 feet long, something like that, something that's nice and easy to hold both sides. Now, to do a square knot, what you have to do is you take the 2 pieces of rope, you put one over the other, and then you just flip one underneath, and with that same piece of rope, you're just going to keep going around and then through. And the way you know you've done this correctly is that it does something like that. Now, the way I teach this to scouts is I'm just going to tell them that this is the only piece that's going to move in this whole thing. And if they get that concept, it gets very easy. Otherwise, you can end up with, a regular granny knot, which is what you use to tie your shoes. So if you put one over the other like that, and this same piece is going to move around on top, right? And this same piece is going to go on top and through, and then you're just going to pull that same piece right here. And if you do that, you have your square knot. Sometimes what I'll have the scouts do is to kind of do it behind their back. So once they get the concept of how the hand moves, they can just do it without even thinking about it. I'm not even looking at it, go like that, and there you go. But often what you'll end up doing is you'll end up with that, like this, which is a granny knot. See? And then you can tell that that's not done correctly there. Now, the other 2 knots that the scouts need to learn are 2/2 hitches and taut line. Now, what I like to tell the scouts is this is really the same sort of knot, right? So you're going to put it around here, and you're going to follow this same guy around, and you're going to make like a Q, and this guy will go inside like that, go around the inside, and then around the outside, and then through, and you pull. And the way that you can tell if this knot is working correctly, and let me kind of twist it so you can kind of see how this works here, see that, is that you can go like that and it pulls that like that, and that is a 2/2 hitch. This is great when you're doing things like you have a bundle of sticks and you want to pull them along. You can use this as opposed to other various knots here. Now, a more useful knot is the taut line. Now, the taut line is the exact same knot, but instead of going around once, you're going to go around twice on the inside. And what this does is adds a little bit of torque. So you're going to put it around once and keep going in the same direction. You go around twice on the inside, and then over, same direction, and through. And then pull. And the difference between this is if I pull on this, like I'm doing right here, it doesn't slip. I can extend this out like that and pull it, doesn't slip. Put it in, doesn't slip. And this is one of the things that I like to do with this cotton type rope, because this rope doesn't slip. If you have a rope that has more of a plastic in it, it's going to slip, so they're not going to get the concept of why this is. Now the great thing about this is putting up a clothesline or putting up a dining fly or something like that, that when it starts to rain and that you get that sag, you can just go back to that same rope without having to retie it and just kind of pull it out, and it just makes it tight again. So let me go over these 2 knots one more time. So we have this here, and I'm going to try and turn it so you can see it better. So you're going to take this rope and you're going to put it on the inside and go around the outside and through and pull. And that is our 2/2 hitch. Now, as you can kind of see, right there, you can see that it's one on the outside and one on the inside. I'm going to undo this, and if I go twice, so take this, I'm going to go once on the inside, keep going around, same way, and you don't want it to flip over each other. If you start to flip over each other, this is one of the things that the Scout does, is they kind of make a mess of it because they don't keep it tight, and then the knot will slip or it just doesn't move. And then on the outside, and pull, and now it's tight. So you can kind of see, you get the 3 right here. You got the 1, 2, 3, and they're all right next to each other, and then it doesn't move. Now, as a leader, I would say to sit there and practice this. Just get a stick like I have here, and without even looking at it, I'm looking the other way. I can go on the inside, move it, go on the outside, and go like that, and boom, and there you go. And that's nice and easy. Once you do this, and if you do this for a few days, you'll never forget it. But if you do it once right before the meeting, by the time the meeting's over, you've forgotten it. And especially the taut line is one of those knots that if you're into camping, you will use this all the time. You can amaze your friends with this knot, because most people that are out there doing camping that are not, real campers will just take this and just do your regular, knot and put it on there and make it nice and tight, and then they don't know what to do because they've made an overhand knot. And you can see I've made a 2/2 hitch here because the muscle memory, right? But they're making knots that it's hard to get out. The great thing about Scout knots is that they're easy to remove as well. So if you do it correctly, you can teach it correctly. Now, one of the things that we did in our Scout meeting is we will teach it 1 week, and then the following week what I did was I set up a barrier to actually enter into the Scout meeting. So when you set up the barrier, before they enter, they have to do one of those 3 knots, and you can help them out. So I set up a stick horizontally, and I had a pile of ropes there. I was like, okay, you want in? Come on, show me a knot. But doing it repeatedly is the only way they're going to keep on learning it. And if they learn it, then they can be putting up the dining flies. Then they can be, setting up the clotheslines, and they can use it for project stuff without you assisting them. So the knots are not really just to, get over the requirements. The knot is really to, give them life skills. Okay, that was all about knots. So take what you like, leave the rest, and as we say in Woodbag, feedback is a gift. Leave yours below in the comments. With all the hope we can learn together. And if you like our channel, please, please, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. Show this to your scouts. That way you can all be able to do your knots. Have a great day.